I'm back. Road Trance on Star Wars. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Join the Road Squadron. Let's hit them drums. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh shit, Rhodes is acting like he's kind of serious right now. I do feel serious about what I'm going to talk about. Okay. Spoilers ahead. If you don't want to hear them, blast out of here. Okay. But if you have been following the spoilers, we know that Rey is going to be the granddaughter of Palpatine. Now, honestly, I actually am okay with that. Earlier, I had a report that came from Jason Ward that Snoke was a clone created by Palpatine. Not a clone of Palpatine, created by Palpatine. By the way, on a side note, well, you know what? I'll make a video on that. I've got a theory behind that too. And essentially, one of the big takeaways from all the leaks is that Rey is going to end up defeating the Emperor, singular, by herself. And I have talked about how displeasing this is. The more I have thought about it, the more I believe this is potentially franchise IP pure destruction for the franchise. I don't feel like this can happen. In other words, let's say the movie, I'm watching a movie and I'm like, Jesus Christ, Lando lives, Chewie lives. This is a pretty good movie. Visually, it's stunning. I like how they get to where they get to. You know, we see the Snoke clones and I'm like, oh man, that's cool. But we get to the end. Let's say I've got this movie as a 9 out of 10 so far. And if Rey ends up defeating the Emperor without the direct involvement of Anakin Skywalker, he really has to be, on a percentage level, it needs to be like a 93-7 Anakin Rey situation. Anakin has to be the one that ends the Emperor once and for all. If it's Anakin and Luke, I would be okay with that too. Okay. I'm still holding out hope that JJ is pulling a Into Darkness con situation on us, like he did with Benedict Cumberbatch, where Mark Hamill's in on the whole thing, because you know Mark Hamill's acting like he's really pissed off right now. That it's all a big troll and Luke's going to be alive. I don't know that that'll happen. Probably won't. What do you think? Yeah. Okay. And look, all of these movies are about this gentleman right here. Anakin is the chosen one. Okay. It is not Rey. And look, if you're a Rey fan, that's fine. I'm not trying to tell you who to be a fan of. But it's about Anakin. Anakin needs to be the one to end the Emperor. You don't want to discount this moment right here. The Return of the Jedi moment at the end, after Vader / Anakin has essentially sacrificed himself and redeems his character to save his son. All right. You're playing with fire, having brought the Emperor back, period. But now I'm hearing that the Emperor may have ended up being a clone in Return of the Jedi. That also cannot happen. John Matrix is ready to lose his shit over that, and I don't blame him. You can't take that away in that moment. And I'm hearing that may happen. Lucasfilm, you cannot retcon Anakin being the chosen one. Rey is not the chosen one. I'm hearing they want this to end with her being the chosen one. She is not the chosen one of the Skywalker saga. This whole thing should ultimately at the end be about Anakin. Still, I don't care if you did a sequel trilogy. It is about Anakin. The whole thing. And I'm getting wind of sort of a clever reason why Luke didn't train Rey, et cetera, et cetera. But none of that matters. None of it matters. If Anakin is not the chosen one at the end of this thing, you will have crashed and burned, lit a match to your fucking franchise. I dare say people will be as pissed about that as they were about Luke's death. Maybe more for some people. For prequel kids that grew up that are now adults that were prequel fans, good God, good luck. It's like you gave a middle finger to the original trilogy fans, and now you're trying to give one to the prequel fans. What are you doing? JJ, if you want to pull a fast one, make the Emperor actually Plagueis. You never know, right? And then we didn't know Plagueis was still alive. And neither did the Emperor. Okay? But you still leave that moment intact for for Anakin having ended the Emperor. You cannot in a million trillion years let Rey be the chosen one. Fans won't accept it. The 5% of the fans you gained from The Last Jedi will accept it, but another 40% of the fans will just be like, to hell with you. And they're likely to give up on The Mandalorian over it. They're going to be so angry. Even though The Mandalorian's been great, they're likely to be so mad. This could affect your TV service you just started. Lucasfilm, you've got no choice but to reboot this sequel trilogy. You've got to reboot it. You've got to reboot it. Yes, you're going to have to act like it never happened. Make it Legends. Make the sequel trilogy Legends. Reboot it with George's treatments. If you want to bring the fan base truly back, you reboot it with George's treatments while Mark Hamill is still young enough to do it, to follow through with George's vision. And you make it very clear George and Feige are working together to do so. Or whoever, George and Favreau, they've got a good relationship. Filoni, you know. Rey cannot be the chosen one. And it's not a great idea for her to adopt the Skywalker name at the end either. She's a Palpatine. Leave her as a Palpatine. Look, that's actually one you would get right. You make her a Palpatine. I was rooting for that since before I walked into the theater of The Force Awakens. I was like, God, I hope this girl is actually goes to the dark side. Good God, why couldn't you make her flip at the end of this thing and have Kylo flip back and kill Rey? And all of a sudden you would hear your fan base rejoice. But then you're left with the Emperor. Then have Anakin come back and end the Emperor and in the movie. There you go. Wrapped up. I fixed it for you. You're going to tank this whole thing. Worse than it already is. I mean, I've heard there's been up to 20 different endings, and this is the best one you came up with? Are you smoking crack? Is crack a hobby at Lucasfilm? I hate to be an asshole. I know that's coming across as an asshole. I get it. But you literally, like, lines are a thing y'all just do in the office while you're writing Star Wars. I mean, what are you doing out there? Dave Filoni's around. Somebody holler at him. Be like, hey, is this going to go over? Hell no, it's not going to go over. What are you doing? We better not do this. Well, no fucking shit. We ought to not do this. It's crazy. This whole thing's crazy. You're going to burn down the ending to Return of the Jedi. You're going to ruin Return of the Jedi? God bless America. It's unbelievable. I'm floored by the lack of competent people. You don't have anybody around that you can bounce ideas off of and them go, that's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. We shouldn't do that. We are going to piss everybody off. Why should it surprise me? Nobody at Lucasfilm has any self-awareness. Kennedy don't. Bob Iger don't. Ryan Johnson sure the fuck doesn't. I mean, Christ almighty. It's unbelievable. You got a bunch of potato heads out there. You can't, my God. There's fans in this community that could have wrote a better sequel trilogy. Easily. And you're like, oh, they know Star Wars better than... Yes, they do. They fucking do. I bet the old guard that worked for George hates their job on a daily basis right now. Because they're watching George's work just be burnt to the ground. This shit's sad. And I wanted to like this movie. I did. Did I dream that they would make Rey the Chosen One and piss on the ending of Return of the Jedi? When all of this, walking out of The Force Awakens, did I really believe, oh, they're just going to piss, they're going to piss on the ending of Return of the Jedi? And I sure didn't think they would do it in this last. I mean, I thought after the last film, they're going to make a fan pleaser. There's no way they're going to do something this stupid than to let Rey adopt the Skywalker name and end the Emperor by herself with no fucking help. Over your Force is female bullshit. Do you know how many women fans are going to be livid over this fucking ending? I mean, you've got your heads up your asses. I mean, you guys have your heads up your asses so far, you can literally tell the last time you ate corn was. You fucking assholes. I mean, what in the hell are you guys doing at Lucasfilm that this is the best writing you can come up with? God.